Hey family, checking in with you. Sorry, the last minute canceled class. It's not really my style, but I figured that you all had stuff to do tonight. Plus, the lecture I did earlier wasn't but about 30 or so minutes, and so let me just jump right into it. Right, I'll probably lecture again on Thursday on the Credo, or just leading you into the Credo. I'll probably do it a little bit tonight, but so listen, I'm hoping you like the apology. I really do. I think that the apology allows us an opportunity to follow up on our initial question, right? What is our motto, right? It allows us to investigate what it is that we see as the foundation of who we are, right? So what Socrates does, right, is look adversity in the face, right? Many of us have been there, right? Many of us have been in school, or maybe our mom and dads, or maybe even a municipality or legal system who accused us of something. Accused us of something that we know we didn't do to the level that they said that we did. And found ourselves trying to navigate truth from what they believe. And so we think about that as our lives, and we know, what will we do, right? What options do we have? Obviously, it depends on what the power is, right? We can argue back if we could argue back. We can fight if we could fight. But Socrates was up against, right, a state, right? Up against a judicial system who made him try to disprove what, as Socrates says, you all are already convinced yourself of, right? So if you have your books, I'm just going to point out a couple quick things. I'll take a minute so you can find your book, or you can press pause real quick. Pause for a second. All right, so I'm outside, so if you hear noise, I'm over here by the basketball court, folk hooping. All right, so I'm going to go to page 17B as in boy, 17B. Socrates says, "It is right for me, gentlemen, to defend myself first against the first line accusations made against me and my first accusers, and then against the latter accusers and the latter accusations and the latter accusers." Right? He goes on and say, the earlier accusations, however, they got hold of most of you from childhood, persuaded you and accused me quite falsely, saying that there is a man named Socrates, a wild man, a student of all things what? Sky and earth, who makes the worst argument the stronger. Right? And those who spread that rumor, gentlemen, are my dangerous accusers. For they are hearers, believe that those who study things do not even believe in God. Moreover, the accusers are numerous and have been in it for a long time. They spoke to you at an age when you would most readily believe them. Some of you were children and adolescents, and they won their case by default. Listen, he's saying, y'all been spitting these lies from me for years. Y'all just waited for your opportunity to bring me to this situation. Some of y'all now are old enough to be on the jury who were just mere kids, and your mom and your daddy and them would tell you about this dude named Socrates and spread these lies about me. What is it like, guys? What is it like, ladies, to have people who spread lies about you? and then spread lies to people who can't help but listen to the truth. Not the truth, but can't help to listen to them and assume it's the truth, right? Parent to kid, sometimes teacher to student, maybe even politician to citizen. And many of us listen. Many of us take it in. And meanwhile, there are people who are like Socrates, maybe like you, certainly like me, who have to defend themselves, right? The apology is not an I'm sorry, it's a I gotta defend myself against all this mess, right? So he goes on and says, I'm gonna take each case one by one and try to get you to understand that y'all got this all messed up. But what I find interesting, right, is that after he feels like, this is slander, this is wrong, y'all tripping, y'all just got an idea that's locked already in, I can't do nothing about it, y'all accuse me of being a sophist, I don't get paid for this, right? And he says that on the bottom of 20, D is in David. These are the Stephanus numbers, right? So 20, D is in David. The bottom 3 lines, right? He says, what has caused my reputation is none other than a certain kind of wisdom. What kind of wisdom? Human wisdom. It may be that I really possess this, while those whom I mentioned just now are wise with a wisdom more than human, else I can't explain it. For if I certainly do not possess it, and whoever says I do is lying and speaks slander. Do I create a disturbance, gentlemen? Well, even if you think I am boasting, for the story I shall tell does not originate with me. But I refer you to what? The trustworthy source. Who is the trustworthy source? The gods. He said, listen, I'm doing God's work. Y'all act like y'all believe in God, but yet when somebody's up here doing God's work, I'm trying to find wisdom, truth. Y'all acting like y'all know something that you don't know. Right? Then he says, on 22, D is in David again. 22, D is in David. Around 5 lines down. It says, but gentlemen of the jury, the good craftsmen seem to me to have learned the same thought as the poets. Each of them, because of his success at his craft, thought himself very wise in other most important pursuits. And this error of theirs overshadowed the wisdom they had, so that I asked myself on behalf of what? Of who? The oracle, the gods. So what he's saying is people out here acting like they got it going on. It's people out here acting like they got wisdom. And they're not linked to nothing. They're not connected to the same light, if you will, that I'm connected to. There's people, if those of you who are first year students saw a video today of me talking to the first year convocation, right? And so you saw me make this distinction, right, between techne and paideia. Techne, T-E-C-H-N-E, and paideia, P-A-I-D-E-I-A. And I said techne is just learning skills, right? Learning how to do something. I'm a good mathematician. I'm a good scientist. I'm a good biologist. I'm a good sociologist. I'm a good writer, good speaker. He says, and that's good, right? People have these skills. He says, but then you go to people who got skills. I'm a good I'm a good accountant, right? But just because you're the best accountant don't make you the best leader. Think about the times you've heard your mama, or maybe even you, in your job. Somebody worked, been there longer than you. You come in and get a promotion over them, or vice versa. Somebody just came in and they get a promotion over you. And then sometimes you even got to train them on the very thing that you already know more. Now, I get that story all the time. People get mad. That's unfair. I say, listen, part of that is maybe, I don't know, I don't know all the stories, but part of that could be you're good at what you do, but you may not be necessarily on the goodness of what all should be, right? Imagine you're a very good mathematician, so you're a great accountant, right? But then they say, I need a manager of all the accountants at the firm. You may be kind of bad with folk. You may cut folk up. You may talk mess. You may not care much about people's feelings. You're not going to be a good manager. So Socrates is saying, listen, just because you're a poet and you know how to put words together, don't make you good. Just because you're a craftsman and you know how to make a boat or you know how to make a house, that don't make you good. Socrates says, I'm trying to find the good people, the wise people, not just the smart people, right? Paideia is about wisdom, it's about character, not just skill, right? He says, I'm operating for God's work, right? Some of y'all are just doing, it's a difference, right, between, you've heard the word vocation and avocation, right? Vocation, V-O-C-A-T-I-O-N, and avocation, A-V-O-C-A-T-I-O-N, right? A vocation arguably is something that you're called to do. An avocation is just something you're good at, right? And just because you're good at something don't mean you deserve to be the leader. You're going to be the best at, that don't mean the same thing, right? So Socrates is trying to explain to people, listen, I get why y'all anxious, but y'all bugging, like y'all are straight tripping, right? You can't send somebody to death because y'all don't understand the higher orders of what things should be and how things should operate. And that's exactly what's going on here in this particular case, right? So then, at the end, if you turn with me to 41, C as in Charlie. What would you not give, gentlemen of the jury, for the opportunity to examine the man who led the great expedition against Troy? Well, what wouldn't you give? Or Odysseus, or Sisyphus? What would you not give to have conversation with them? And innumerable other men like them and women who I could mention. It would be an extraordinary happiness, right? To talk with them, to keep company with them, and to examine them, these great men and women of God. In any case, they would certainly not put one to death for doing so. They are happier than that when we are here in other respects, right? Smart people, wise people don't trip, right? Only smart people who are really really a bit, what's the word I'm trying to say? Not incomplete, insecure, right? They get to tripping. But he says, I'm not tripping and the gods ain't tripping. He says, so they are happier than that when we're here in this respect. And for the rest of time, they are deathless, right? Highlight or circle that word in your book, right? They are deathless. And I'll get to that here in the wrap up. If indeed we are told the truth. You too must be of good hope as regards of death, gentlemen of the jury, and keep this one thing in mind, truth in mind, that a good man cannot be harmed either in life or in death, and that his affairs are not neglected by the gods. What has happened to me now has not happened of itself, but it is clear to me that it was better for me to die now and to escape from trouble. That is why my divine sign did not oppose me at any point. So I am certainly not angry with those who convicted me, or even my accusers. Of course, that was not their purpose when they accused and convicted me. But they thought they were what? Hurting me. I'm gonna get back to that, circle that, highlight that. My accusers thought and my convictors thought they were hurting me. And for this, they deserve blame. But this much I ask of them. I love this part, but it's the end, right? When my sons grow up, avenge yourselves by causing them the same kind of grief that I caused you. If you think they care for money or anything else more than they care for virtue, or if they think they are somebody when they are nobody, reproach them as I reproach you, that they do not care for the right things and think they are worthy when they are not. If you do this, I shall have been justly treated by you and by my sons as well. Now the hour to part has come. I go to die. You go to live. Which of us goes to the better lot is known to no one except the God. So listen, think back to the My Motto exercise. Think back to the Cornel West conversation, talking about philosophy is about to learning how to die, right? Learning how to, as I said if you're a first year student, you heard it today, the unmasking, the killing of something so that something else can live, right? That's what we do in philosophy. We kill ignorance, we kill falsity, we kill all those things so that truth can live, honesty can live, sincerity can live. I'm no Biggie Smalls, right? But he said what? I'm ready to die in 1996. Long before you, right? I'm ready to die. And that may not have been personally. I know he wished he didn't get shot up, right? But he says, I'm ready to die. Meaning, in a sense, meaning almost I'm deathless. You can take me by a bullet, but my legacy lives on. Socrates says, you can kill me, but my legacy lives on. Your children's children, they would live on. I will live on in them. He says, and then if my kids, what's going to be the telltale sign here is that when you, years later, you're going to be going back and saying, what's up with Socrates' kids? They tripping too. That's when you're going to know I'm deathless. You can't get rid of me. Why? Because I'm doing God's work, and God is going to continue to do the work in other people. Right? So I can go die. And you might think you're doing something. But the truth is, I am the one that may have a better lot in life than you. Maybe my death is freedom. Maybe your life is misery. Maybe my death is emancipation. Maybe your life is bondage. But we have to learn to be deathless, to do whatever we can in life. That our death lives, that life after our death, people who we've touched, lives we've affected, continue to thrive past our mortality. That's what deathless means. Right? So listen. Crito is going to come. Crito is his boy. Crito is going to try to be like Socrates. Look, you let these people convict you. They gave you some options. You had some options not to do this. Let people convict you. I'm your boy, man. I'm going to miss you. I don't want you to die. But then Crito has to learn, listen, this ain't about Socrates. Socrates already said this ain't about me. This is a God mission. This is a God thing. And that's why I appreciate Socrates. That's why Socrates means so much to me. So we started the class with Socrates because we have to ask ourselves, to what extent, what are we driven by? Socrates already told you in here. If it's about material stuff, I mean, that's on them. But that stuff is fleeting, passing, and does not hold any type of weight. So listen, hopefully you enjoyed the apology. Like I said, it is my favorite. It's close between this and Symposium, but it's certainly one of my favorite dialogues. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Stay strong.